"Hug your wife and kids for the last time," said the doctor. "You're minutes away from a diabetic coma and you may never wake up from it." Frightened and struggling to keep my eyes open, I glanced over at my wife as Dr. Cooper was showing her my test results. A normal blood sugar level was supposed to be below 120. Mine was 492. As I struggled to catch my breath, the agony settled in. It had only been 4 years since I had my type 2 diabetes diagnosis, and there I was, trapped on that cold steel hospital bed, finally facing the harsh reality I had ignored for so long. "Please, there must be something you can do," my wife begged Dr. Cooper. "We're trying to lower his blood sugar, but his body doesn't seem to respond to any of the medications," he said. "I'm afraid things don't look good. The deterioration is so rapid he may only have less than an hour before slipping into a coma." That was it, less than 60 short minutes. That was all he was giving me before I would fall into unconsciousness. Fear and regret overwhelmed every fiber of my being. 52 years of my life. All my precious memories completely vanished from my mind like they never existed. My brain would soon shut down with a very real chance that I would never wake up again. A million thoughts rushed through my mind. I would never get to be there for my kids, to tell them how proud I am of who they become. Never get to see my grandchildren grow. Never get to take them to school, to teach them another song, to show them how much I love them. And never get the chance to keep the promise I made to my dear wife, that we would grow old together. As I laid there watching my wife and our kids sob uncontrollably, I felt ashamed. Ashamed for not doing something sooner when I knew my blood sugar was out of control. Furious for trusting the doctors when they told me the medication would work. Angry at God for letting this happen to me, and terrified of what it would do to my family when I was gone. Will my wife be able to move on with her life without me if I never wake up? Will my grandkids remember my name? I prayed to God to wake me up from this nightmare. But it was real. It was happening. With every minute passing by, the clock was ticking away my life. It pains me deeply to tell you the rest of this story, but I feel that God has given me a second chance to do so. Because it was that precise moment that sent me on a dramatic journey through the dark underbelly of the multi-billion-dollar diabetes industry. One where I would uncover the real root cause of type 2 diabetes. And that would eventually give me the answer that saved my life and the lives of over 160,000 type 2 diabetics from all over the world. Because in this journey, I would discover a safe and simple right from a remote Indonesian island, one that would help me break free from type 2 diabetes in a matter of weeks, eliminate all the debilitating symptoms that were ruining my life, the excruciating pain in my legs and feet, blurred vision, constant fatigue, all gone. I lowered my blood sugar from the dangerous 492 that almost took my life to 246, then 164, and finally to a healthy 114. I lost 32 pounds of dangerous fat, rejuvenated my heart, arteries, joints, and bones, restored my mental clarity, focus, and skyrocketed my energy levels, and regained my intimate life with my wife, something which I never thought I'd enjoy again. Despite what you've been led to believe, your uncontrolled blood sugar and stubborn fat have nothing to do with the sweets you eat or the number of carbs in your meal. And it's not related to your genes or the fact that you're getting older. Instead, it's all due to a toxic molecule that hides deep inside your pancreas and damages your body's natural ability to control blood sugar. And once you know what this molecule is, you'll be able to stop it, repair any damage it has caused to your body, and break free from type 2 diabetes in just a few weeks. No matter if you're 20 or 80 years old, no matter if you've been a type 2 diabetic for 10 days or 20 years, and no matter your actual health condition. This little-known ritual has been kept hidden by the inhabitants of a small remote island from Indonesia and will help you lower your blood sugar to healthy levels. All this without paying a single visit to the doctor, without any restrictive diets, spending a minute in the gym, or hurting yourself 8 times a day with an insulin prick. In the next 3 minutes, I'm going to show you why everything you thought you knew about how to treat type 2 diabetes is flat out wrong. You're going to be sickened to the bone once you hear this former pharma employee spill out the beans and reveal the 3 biggest lies of the corrupt diabetes industry. I'll reveal to you the easy-to-follow sacred ritual that you can use tonight to flush out this toxic molecule from your bloodstream and pancreas. Then, I'll let some of the 160,000 men and women who've used this method tell you about how amazing their life had turned after they broke free of type 2 diabetes. And finally, I'll show you the undeniable scientific evidence, plus all the independent studies that prove this method works. Yes, I know how amazing all this sounds, but if you're here to finally learn the truth about your type 2 diabetes, then you've come to the right place. So pay close attention because we're running out of time. The worldwide diabetes industry is worth a staggering $350 billion. These people are perfectly happy to keep you sick and in pain for as long as it fills their deep, greedy pockets. And the last thing they want for you is to see the rest of this story. Honestly, you have to wonder why there is a vaccine for everything from chickenpox to yellow fever, but no complete solution to something as common as type 2 diabetes. So make sure you keep watching this video because it may well save your life or the life of someone you love. Now, of course, I don't want you to simply take my word for it. Betty Crane, a 52-year-old bookkeeper from Bloomington, Indiana, has been struggling with type 2 diabetes for over a decade. She thought she was going to be a type 2 diabetic for all her life. She was scared to death of the thought that she would one day fall into a diabetes coma and never wake up. Skeptical, she wanted to try this hack for herself. In less than a few weeks, her blood sugar levels were back to normal, leaving her husband and her doctor speechless. I feel like $1 million. It's like a fog has lifted and my mind is sharp. I used to keep forgetting things. I'm not tired anymore. I have a lot of energy. I'm happy. My clothes are fitting looser. And the weirdest thing, I'm not hungry. For the first time in my life, I'm not hungry, constantly hungry all the time. Thank you so much. This changed my life and saved me from a slow, painful death in the not-so-distant future. Tim Gannon is a 72-year-old retired doctor who decided to give this program a try after he verified all the research. His blood sugar levels are back to normal, and he's full of energy. His stress is gone, and he's extremely happy for being able to dance at his daughter's wedding. I was skeptical at first, but your research showed me the truth. I feel like a new man, and it's all due to this method. I am recommending it to everyone. Thank you so much. Dorothy Howell from Austin, Texas thought there was no escape from type 2 diabetes. She thought she'd seen it all and read it all. But now her blood sugar levels are like in her youth. I couldn't believe my eyes when I looked at my readings and saw my new blood sugar levels. The way this method works is incredible. Thank you deeply. Stories like these are amazing, but they aren't unique. Thousands of men and women from all around the world have used this simple ritual to escape from type 2 diabetes. And I promise you, just as the sun will rise tomorrow, this will work for you too. So, are you ready to break free from your type 2 diabetes nightmare? Then let's not waste any more time. I want you to know who I am. My name is David Miller. I'm 53 years old. I live in Parkland, Florida with my wife Sarah and our youngest boy Michael. I want you to know that I'm no doctor, no health guru, and I don't have a diploma from Yale or Harvard. I work as a proud college physics professor. I was always a hardworking guy, doing extra hours at school and helping out all my students to make sure they got a chance of a brighter future. I was actually there at the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in 2018. And I have to tell you, besides the moment when I was 60 minutes away from slipping into a coma, this was the scariest and most painful memory in my life. I've truly felt how it is to be completely powerless in the face of the enemy. And you know what? The same happens to your body every day when it comes to type 2 diabetes. You are forced to fight a vicious enemy you cannot see and live in constant fear of not knowing when it will turn against you, just like it happened to me. My story begins nearly 4 years ago. Back then, I was in the prime of my life and didn't think much of something bad happening to me, let alone something as terrible as type 2 diabetes. My wife and I were just the average married couple. Then, it happened. It was a cold mid-February afternoon when I first received my medical report after a routine physical examination and lab work. I didn't know back then, but that moment was going to mark the beginning of a 4-year nightmare. As I sat there in my doctor's office, hearing him tell me about my lab results, it hit me. My blood sugar levels were through the roof. After performing several more blood tests, the diagnosis was clear. I was type 2 diabetic. My wife and I were shocked. I had hardly been sick a day in my life, barely caught a cold in years. And now this? Who has time for this? I said to my wife. Honestly, at that point, my ignorance was as big as Mount Everest. But the doctors put me on metformin right away to lower my blood sugar and promised my condition would improve soon. So I continued with the treatment and went for regular monthly checkups. And even though I felt horrible from the side effects, The doctor explained to me that it's all normal and that all drugs have side effects. He seemed very confident writing those expensive prescriptions. So I kept trusting him and did as he said. But 4 years went by, and the medication was slowly failing me. My blood sugar became erratic, I kept putting on more weight, and my energy levels were down to the floor. And then, when I thought things couldn't get any worse, I was diagnosed with severe vision loss in both of my eyes. So the doctor prescribed me more meds to deal with that. As a professor, it was truly devastating. Reading was a big part of my life, and now I was forced to leave it behind. The doctors warned me I should spend less time at school, so I had to cut my working hours in half, which dramatically affected our income. I was slowly becoming a burden for my wife. Then soon the side effects from the new prescribed drugs piled on. The only quiet time I had is when I would eat, which only added more fat on my waistline and left me even more depressed. Every time I tried to exercise or eat healthy, it would only make it worse thanks to my condition. Hopelessness settled in. I gave up trying to control my diet and lost every last shred of confidence in doctors, myself, and, to my very shame, in God. I was in so much pain in my feet, my arms, chest, and I could barely walk because of the nerve damage. I was stuck in a nightmarish hell, which there was no escape from. I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, painful nerve damage, and was on the brink of kidney failure. And my blood sugar levels kept climbing. I forced myself to try countless diets, keto, paleo, painful exercises, which only left me weaker and made me go back to my old eating habits. Seeing myself in the mirror, I was extremely embarrassed of my body, so I just gave up on the thought of ever being intimate with my wife. I had become a memory, a shadow of the man I once was. But the worst was yet to come. One sorry night, as I woke up to get a glass of water, I suddenly felt I couldn't breathe. Like the air was too heavy to fit in my lungs. I tried to call my wife, but words just didn't come out of my mouth, and then I collapsed. I woke up on the hospital bed with my wife and children standing next to me crying. The doctor said to my wife that I had just suffered from severe ketoacidosis. The level of sugar in my blood was 492. He said he doesn't know how much time I have left before I would fall into a diabetic coma and probably never wake up, and I should just say goodbye to my family. Trapped in that cold steel hospital bed, I realized I had two options. Either I would give up and slowly fade away, leave my family heartbroken and my children without their father, or I would fight, for as long as I could, for as much as I could. I promised myself that if I survived the day, I would search every corner of this planet to fight this disease no matter what the cost. I thank God every day for giving me the chance to tell you this story today. And even though the medications only worked to keep me alive, that was all I needed them to do. As I got out of the hospital, I powered my computer and searched for what causes type 2 diabetes. So after a long sleepless night, here's what I found. As you may already know, type 2 diabetes develops when your body becomes resistant to insulin or when the pancreas is unable to produce enough insulin. Scientists have been trying for decades to understand why the pancreas becomes unable to function properly. Recently, a Professor Taylor and his brilliant research team from Newcastle University in the UK took a different approach. Instead of focusing on the pancreas, they took one step back and tried to understand what exactly is causing this dysfunctionality. And what they found was mind-boggling. You see, everyone in the world has body fat. No matter if you're skinny, regular fit, or overweight, you have fat stored under your skin. Now, here's where things get scary. Scientists have found that when the body fails to store fat under your skin properly, some of that fat accumulates inside the liver. The fat then spills outside the liver and goes directly to the pancreas. It clogs up the pancreas, blocks it from properly producing insulin, and that's when your blood sugar spikes out of control and you develop type 2 diabetes. The amount of fat that can be stored under the skin varies from person to person, Professor Taylor, the leading author of the study, said. So essentially, it doesn't matter how much fat you have. Instead, it's all due to how much your body is capable to store under the skin. This is why so many overweight people don't develop type 2 diabetes, and many other people who've been fit all their life become type 2 diabetics. It's really not your fault. It's all due to the toxic molecules of fat that clog your pancreas and disrupt its natural ability to produce insulin and normalize your blood sugar. Imagine you're trying to enter into your home and you put the key into the lock, but the door doesn't open. So you look at your key, but there's nothing wrong with it. Then you look inside the lock and, surprise, surprise, the lock is filled with gum. Now, it's the same thing with what causes your high blood sugar and type 2 diabetes. But instead of gum, your pancreas is filled with tiny molecules of fat that block it from functioning properly. And the worst part is that this fat also sticks to your heart and even clogs your arteries, which explains why diabetics are at high risk of heart failure. This was incredible. The reason why blood sugar gets out of control is not due to the sweets you eat or the number of carbs in your meal, but with these tiny toxic molecules that clog your pancreas and disrupt its ability to produce insulin properly. Unfortunately, even after my breakthrough, I still couldn't find the answer as to how to fix all this and revoke my type 2 diabetes. I researched tirelessly day and night to find an answer. I read every medical journal, every research paper written in the last 5 years. I spoke to endocrinologists, homeopaths, nutritionists, alternative therapy specialists. I visited research centers, posted countless messages on diabetes forums, even spoke to top medical experts. But nothing seemed to help me connect the dots. Just old, useless advice every diabetic person has heard 1,000 times. Then, one Sunday evening, I received a call from a man I'll call Sam. I can't tell you his real name for reasons that will become clear in just a moment. Sam is a veteran of the pharmaceutical industry with more than 25 years in working for one of Big Pharma's top companies. He recently resigned, sick of their shady practices. During our call, Sam revealed to me the 3 biggest lies of the diabetes industry, a secret so carefully guarded that he could get into major trouble if his former employer ever found out he was talking to me. And it's because, as he said, this entire industry is corrupt to its last brick. They couldn't care less about making you healthy as long as they can keep draining money out of your pockets. Listen, when was the last time your doctor told you to take less drugs as it would be good for your health? I'm guessing never. And that's the big diabetes lie number 1. Drugs help you reverse your type 2 diabetes. From the moment your doctor gives the verdict, he starts prescribing you drugs which your body builds resistance to over time. Then, as soon as your condition worsens, they prescribe even more drugs, which in return come with more side effects. Then you find yourself in a vicious circle while your condition gets worse by the day. The cold truth is that drugs like metformin only treat the symptoms of type 2 diabetes and not the cause of it. So with time, your body gains resistance to it. Then finally, when they do stop working, your blood sugar levels are too high and your type 2 diabetes has gotten so bad, no drug can help you anymore. And like I said, this happens because they only treat the symptoms and not the cause. It's like a Band-Aid on an open wound. And worse of all, these medications cause a lot of terrible side effects. Extreme tiredness, weakness, muscle pain, anemia, kidney problems, heart problems, liver problems. Sound familiar? Yet you won't find them taken off the shelves because they're a money source too good for Big Pharma to kill. So what do? They continue feeding them to you without caring that your health and well-being deteriorate with each day that goes by. In April 2020, a class action lawsuit was filed against the inventor and manufacturer of metformin, asking FDA to force a recall of the drug from the market due to its deadly side effects. According to Global Data, a top international consulting and research firm, the type 2 diabetes market alone is expected to double by 2025. Billions of dollars are at stake here, and you're their number 1 customer. Then, Sam unveiled the big diabetes lie number 2. Exercise lowers your blood sugar. Ever since you got your type 2 diabetes diagnosis, your doctor said you should start exercising as it will be good for your health. But no one tells you exactly what happens to your blood sugar during workouts. As you exercise, your body releases a stress hormone called cortisol. This stimulates your liver to create glucose, which, with time, makes you even more resistant to insulin. In a 2002 study published in the American Diabetes Association journal, said that working out actually increases blood sugar levels for diabetics. And even if it works for a while, it doesn't address the main problem of your uncontrolled blood sugar, which is your pancreas being clogged by dangerous fat molecules. And then, Sam unveiled the big diabetes lie number 3. Eating carbs is bad for your type 2 diabetes. The truth is, if you go on a no-carb diet, it will only make things worse for you. Jacqueline London, a senior dietitian at the Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, said that even if you have diabetes, nearly half of your calories should come from carbohydrates. And that's because almost every process in your body requires them. Even your brain needs carbs, and not getting enough can damage your memory on the long run. Also, eating less carbs can lower blood sugar to dangerous levels in people who take medications that increase insulin levels. So carbs are not the enemy here. To break free from type 2 diabetes, you have to target the real root cause, which is fat cells clogging up your pancreas and stopping it from functioning properly. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So if all these things are useless against type 2 diabetes, if all the drugs they prescribe are nothing more than a patch, then what is the actual solution to freeing myself from this debilitating disease? Unfortunately, even after I emailed Sam all my research and findings, he wasn't able to answer this question. But life works in mysterious ways, because the call I was going to receive the following morning would change everything. It came from the director of the Academic Exchange Department. They wanted to let me know that I was invited to join our school's amazing international exchange program and travel to Indonesia for a month. I would have to teach students physics on a remote island just south of Indonesia. Although my health was getting worse every day, my wife and I agreed that it would be good for me to get some fresh air. So I let the school book the next flight, and I headed to Indonesia. As I arrived at the school, I was introduced to other professors from the island, 16 men and women, some older, but most the same age as me. As I got to know everyone, I noticed something very strange. All these professors, with zero exception, were extremely fit and healthy looking, even though some of them were well past their 60s. Some of them in their late 50s even looked a decade younger than me. I was completely puzzled. Now, among them was Leo Hamka, a slim, energetic 57-year-old man who I came to talk a lot with during my stay on the island. Despite being a very nice person, Leo had a strange thing he did after each meal. He would take a tiny bag from his pocket and pour a small amount of its contents into a glass of water, then drink it immediately after. At first, I didn't pay much attention to it, but after I watched the other professors perform the same strange ritual, I was deeply intrigued. But the even more intriguing part was that each one of them would eat without remorse. They would order appetizers, desserts like huge slices of cheesecake and apple pie. And after every meal, they were more energetic than I was in my prime years. I was puzzled, so I had to ask Leo, what is this strange habit that I see everyone on the island doing? It's to keep us healthy, he said. Legend on the island said, as Leo told me, that whoever drank this potion would live a long and prosperous life. The secret lies in the healing power of nature, Leo added. This secret recipe comes from our ancestors and has been in our culinary culture for decades. Hearing these words, I told Leo everything that had happened to me. How I almost died from a diabetic coma, how much pain I endured over the years because of this debilitating disease, how the doctor said I should say goodbye to my wife and kids, and begged him, if he could share anything that might help me, I would be forever in debt. Leo seemed very touched by my story, but he said as much as he wanted to help me, he wouldn't be able to do so, since the only people who know the exact recipe are a handful of the island's elderly. Unfortunately, they are extremely protective of it, Leo said. In fact, Leo said many televisions and billionaires came to the island and offered to pay insane amounts of money for the recipe, but the island's elders refused. It seemed that I was out of luck. But then, on my last day on the island, when I thought everything was lost, Leo came to me with a big smile on his face. "Are you ready?" he asked me. He returned a couple minutes later with his notebook with the exact recipe written on one of the pages. "Take it. It's the thing you've been looking for," Leo said. "Here on our island, I have never met a single diabetic person. None of them heard of diabetes, not even our most elderly people. And yet we still enjoy all the foods we like. Just make sure you take this mix once a day after dinner, and you can stop worrying about type 2 diabetes," Leo concluded. Then he patted me on the back and went back to his classes. It was amazing. After so many years, I finally had hope. As soon as I got back home, I looked into each one of the ingredients on the list. I checked every herb, fruit, plant, and mushroom, and what I came across was extraordinary. Leo's recipe had 3 star ingredients. All these ingredients had the incredible power to break down the fat molecules inside the pancreas and help the body regain its natural ability to control blood sugar. The first star ingredient on the list was guggle. Besides its incredible ability to lower blood sugar, guggle also detoxifies the body, helps lower cholesterol and triglycerides, and a 2003 study has shown that it's able to reduce pain and improve mobility in patients with arthritis. The second star ingredient on Leo's list was banaba, another incredible Asian plant. A 2012 study has demonstrated that banaba leaves improve insulin sensitivity, which helps your body use the glucose in your blood much more effectively. This results in significantly decreased levels of your blood sugar. This powerful compound is also a strong antioxidant which helps with lower cholesterol, weight loss, and helps protect against kidney damage. Another 2015 study has shown banaba leaves to be effective in lowering triglycerides, which are a type of fat found in your body which are one of the leading causes of heart disease. Then there was Gymnema sylvestre, an incredible shrub natively found in the tropical forests of Asia. This shrub is so powerful that scientists call it the destroyer of sugar. That's because a 2014 study has found that Gymnema sylvestre helps reduce sugar cravings and helps reduce blood sugar. It also helps increase the amount of insulin in the body and increase the growth of cells in the pancreas. And here's something very important about this plant. Gymnema sylvestre contains special compounds called phytochemicals. Lab studies have shown that phytochemicals act as antioxidants that protect cells from damage and rejuvenate the body. Then there was white mulberry leaf. The organic compounds in white mulberry slow the breakdown of sugars in the gut so that they are absorbed more slowly into the blood. This helps the body keep blood sugar in the healthy range. Mulberries are also rich in resveratrol. Countless studies have proven that resveratrol is a powerful antioxidant which supports a healthy heart, and many experts seem to believe it has anti-aging effects. According to a study conducted by David Sinclair of Harvard Medical School, resveratrol appears to help increase the activity of mitochondria, which produces energy within cells, potentially extending their lives. The list went on for another 6 powerful ingredients, all with the same power to unclog the pancreas, lower blood sugar to healthy levels, and more important, to help anyone break free from type 2 diabetes. As I finalized my research, I finally understood. I understand why Leo looked 20 years younger than me, even though his eating and lifestyle habits were no different than mine. I understood why these island's elders were so protective of their recipe, and why not a single doctor has ever told me about these powerful nutrients. Instead, they were happy to shove all their expensive and dangerous drugs down my throat. For the first time in my long, painful type 2 diabetic history, I was close to solving the puzzle. Now, there was just one more thing I had to figure out. How can I combine these foods in a practical way so it doesn't generate huge costs? I made a quick calculation, and the amounts I'd have to pay were way more than I could afford with my current job as a professor. Even though these ingredients were abundant in this small Indonesian island, it would be extremely difficult to find them for cheap in the US. I couldn't afford to spend $500 every week. I needed a better way to extract these nutrients from the Indonesian foods and put them into a practical form, which would make it easier to collect, store, and consume. So I started looking for companies that would help us bring the plants in bulk into the States and manufacture them into easy-to-swallow capsules. Leo warned me that in order for the mixture to work, the ingredients had to be combined in the right order and proportions. So all I had to do was find a small, discreet company that would help me put this formula into an easy-to-swallow capsule. I specifically looked for a company that was both FDA approved and GMP, Good Manufacturing Practices, certified. It was extremely difficult. It took me weeks until I found someone reliable. You'd be shocked by how ignorant most of these companies are when it comes to maintaining the quality and purity of their materials. I remember jumping with joy when I actually found the one company that matched my standards. Now, there was one more step left. I needed help from someone with medical knowledge, someone that could combine these superfoods into the ultimate power mix against type 2 diabetes. The help came in the name of Dr. Peter Newman, a PhD lab supervisor and medical researcher for the past 32 years. He was highly experienced with both traditional and herbal medicine, and very happy to help since he was also pre-diabetic. Not only was he a good doctor, but also a very good person. "Congratulations, Mr. Miller, your research led you well," Dr. Newman said. "The fact that fat gets into the pancreas and causes type 2 diabetes is truly the medical discovery of the century. Unfortunately, not many people know this because Big Pharma is very careful to only promote their chemical-filled drugs. And so the suffering are left to live with a debilitating disease even when the solution to it already exists. Including the right list of powerful nutrients in your daily diet is the only way to stop fat cells clogging up your pancreas and restart its natural ability to control blood sugar. Once these toxic molecules are flushed out, your body can start to naturally repair itself. You clear your arteries and your blood sugar levels go back to normal as your pancreas is no longer clogged and can function properly, Dr. Newman concluded. And so, he and his team got to work. It wasn't easy. They worked around the clock to decompose the healthy food compounds into specific molecules and extract these incredible antioxidants. After months of trial and error and lots of extremely hard work, Dr. Newman and his research team finally came up with the 100% natural supplement we all put our hopes in. Tears filled my eyes as I held in my hand the pill that no one in the greedy big pharma industry had the courage or goodwill to make. All we needed was someone to give it a try. Of course, that someone was me. The first few days went by and there was almost no change, except for the fact that I'd lost a few pounds and my energy levels were significantly better. But my wife and I both agreed that it was too early to jump into conclusions. Then a few days later, the reading showed a drop in my blood sugar, something that gave us hope for the first time. Plus, one late evening, as my wife suggested we stay late and order a pizza, I said, "No thanks, I already ate dinner." Something which surprised us both. I was no longer hungry, craving fattening foods all the time. Every day after that was a blessing. My clothes were already getting looser. After a few weeks, I lost 32 pounds, going from this to this. I could see better than in my prime years, and my blood sugar was steadily dropping from 276 to 169, then to 143. And there was something else. My memory was improving. I could focus for longer periods of time. I could even solve difficult problems with my grandsons. Then one morning, something amazing happened. As my wife ran downstairs, she saw me staring at the glucose meter in complete and utter shock. I wanted to scream out loud. After just a few weeks, my blood sugar readings were showing a staggering healthy 114. And every single day after that, they stayed just about the same, never going higher. I felt reborn, like God had just given me a second chance at life. I was full of energy, my stress and anxiety were gone, the pain in my feet and legs vanished. And so were all my fears of amputation, heart problems, or coma, all gone. When I went to see my doctor, he didn't believe me at first. He had them repeat my blood tests several times. He just couldn't comprehend how someone could lower their blood sugar naturally without their expensive drugs filled with side effects. The doctor had no other choice than to take me off my meds. It was the most amazing feeling I've had in years. I walked out of that clinic as a free man, a man who no longer had to endure the pain and suffering of this debilitating disease. Can you imagine how good it feels when your doctor says you're no longer type 2 diabetic? As soon as we got home, we had a little ceremony where my wife threw away all the medications and tests. "We did it. We won the battle," I said to her. It worked. I had finally broken free from the shackles of type 2 diabetes. I called Dr. Newman to tell him the good news. I told him that I wanted to share this with everyone, but he warned me. Just because this has worked for me didn't mean that it would work for everyone. So we decided to post a few messages on type 2 diabetes forums and ask for volunteers. In less than a week, we had 88 people who wanted to try this formula, from pre-diabetics to advanced type 2 diabetes cases. Each one of them got 3 months' supply of these ingredients. But after just a few weeks, everyone reported a dramatic drop in their blood sugar levels. Many people also reported losing weight from their belly, arms, face, hips, and thighs, increasing their energy levels, clearer vision, and losing the pain in their arms and legs. At the end of the test, 100% of the volunteers broke free from their type 2 diabetes. That's a 100% success rate. Seeing these results, we knew what we had to do next. So we created a clinically proven supplement to take once a day with a glass of water that allows you to break free from type 2 diabetes in a matter of weeks. We called it Reversirol, the only 100% natural blend in the world that goes directly to the root cause of your type 2 diabetes, so you can naturally lower your blood sugar to healthy levels. We only produce Reversirol in our FDA-approved and good manufacturing practices GMP facility using the latest technology and equipment. Every capsule of Reversirol is non-GMO and safe. The process is very easy to follow. It doesn't require any restrictive diets or starving yourself. And based on the tens of thousands of successful results we've seen, we can now say for certain that reversirol is more powerful than any diet in the world, because it doesn't just help break free from type 2 diabetes, but also rejuvenates your heart and arteries, improves your vision, your memory and focus, boosts your energy levels, and so much more. So you'll also be improving your overall health at the same time. This program has already changed the lives of over 160,000 people, and that number is steadily increasing every day. Michael Key from Portland, Oregon says, "I just couldn't understand why none of the medications my doctor prescribed didn't work. My health was slowly deteriorating, and after a couple of years of my type 2 diabetes diagnosis, I have gained over 35 pounds. When I saw your message, I knew I had a chance to change this in my life. My energy levels are skyrocketing. The swelling in my feet is gone. I keep shedding weight, all thanks to your formula." A big thank you, David. Betty Reeves, a 48-year-old bookkeeper from Oswego, New York, says, "It had ruined every aspect of my life. I felt so guilty every time I would take a bite to eat. Every time we had dinner at a restaurant, I was constantly afraid of what might happen to me. I'm so glad all this has changed now. Thank you for sharing this." Christine Sherman, 44 years old, from Nashville, Tennessee, says, "This changed my life. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes nearly 4 years ago. My doctor put me on 2 different medications which stopped working a short time after. This forced my doctor to increase the dosage, but that did nothing for me other than increase the side effects. You should have seen the look on my doctor's face when he saw my blood tests and said I am no longer type 2 diabetic. And they had no other choice than to take me off the medications I'd been on, with all their side effects. Sure, I go to regular checkups every 3 months, but I am no longer type 2 diabetic. Thank you a million times. The only thing you have to do in order to achieve the same results is to follow this program. This method is very simple and safe. And in less than a minute, I'll give you access to everything. Now, are you ready to escape the type 2 diabetes nightmare? Are you ready to say yes to this incredible moment that gives you freedom to do anything you want and enjoy your life as a free person? Free of guilt, free of pain, and free of any stress or worry? Then ask yourself this: how much is it worth to you to be in full control of your health and your body again? To never have to follow insane diets that leave you weak and exhausted? To be able to live a life knowing that you will never again feel like a burden for your loved ones? And to not have to worry about all the life-threatening side effects of this disease? Just imagine this for a second. How much would all this be worth to you? Many people would pay everything they've got just to get their young, strong, and healthy body back. I'd do it myself in a split second. And by the way, did you know that an average type 2 diabetic pays over $16,000 every year on medication and care? And the worst part is, this is just to manage the condition, with no hope of ever treating it and getting over it. So let me ask you again, how much is it worth for the real solution to escape from type 2 diabetes? $100,000? $10,000? $5,000? I'll tell you, after seeing the incredible results of this formula, Dr. Newman himself recommended that we sell a 30-day supply of reversirol for $997. And while my wife thought I should charge at least $497, even though this formula already helped over 160,000 men and women who would happily pay triple the price after seeing the benefits in their own lives. If this was about the money, I could have just sold this formula to the highest big pharma bidder and retire in the riches on some exotic island. But then stories like the ones you've heard would not exist. And I can't allow that. That's why the price for a bottle of reversirol is now just $99 per bottle. But since Dr. Newman and I have a goal to help a historic number of type 2 diabetics escape from this debilitating disease, we want to see the success stories flooding our servers every day. So today, you can get a 30-day supply of reversirol for a one-time fee of $69 and not a penny more. Also, you should know that we are committed to helping you in every way we can. That's why, after talking to our manufacturing partner, we are giving huge discounts on the 3 and 6 bottle package. Now, if this sounds good to you, then look below now. Once you make your choice, you'll be taken to our secure checkout page. It takes less than a minute to enter your payment information, and once your order is confirmed, we'll ship reversirol straight to your doorstep. Now, like I said, reversirol is very popular. And once we run out of stock, it will take us 3 months to restock. because we only produce the formula using extremely high-quality ingredients, which are very hard to find. Then there are the diabetes industry giants who threaten us every day to take this website down, and I honestly don't know how much we can keep risking our safety. So go ahead and choose below while this formula is still available, and if you wonder if this will work for you, I understand. You've probably tried a lot of things over the years. Put your hopes and trust into many other things, but they let you down. I'm very confident that Reversirol is the right thing for you. That's why I'm going to give you our 60-day money-back guarantee. If after 2 months you don't see a dramatic change, even if you've used up the entire bottle, send us an email or call us and we'll refund every penny back. No questions asked. There are no hidden fees and no subscriptions. Just a simple, secure, one-time only payment. So go ahead and make your choice now. Give yourself a chance to live a better, unrestricted life. The way I see it, you're now at a crossroads, and 2 paths stand before you. Path number 1, you can leave this page and act like nothing happened. You can ignore this incredible solution and the 160,000 people who've successfully tried it and all the groundbreaking research that proves it works. You can go back to your regular life full of restrictive diets, insulin pricks, and constant fear of amputation or deadly health complications. You can continue to pour your money into Big Pharma's pockets, when their only goal is to keep you sick for as long as you live so they can keep profiting on your misfortune. Sure, you can do that. Or you could choose path 2. You could give yourself a chance of a better life and choose below. A life of a free man or woman. A life where coma, amputation, or high blood sugar become fiction. Like after watching an entire season of Dr. House. So go ahead and select your package below now. I can't wait for you to experience the amazing benefits of what Reversirol has to offer. Still here? Let me answer some of the most important questions we receive about Reversirol so you can feel safe and confident when you place your order today. Is Reversirol right for me? I get this question quite often, and the answer is always the same. If you are a type 2 diabetic and haven't been able to control your blood sugar, then Reversirol is definitely right for you. According to Professor Taylor and his brilliant research team from Newcastle University, the real root cause of type 2 diabetes is fat cells spilling inside the pancreas and preventing it from functioning properly. These amazing scientists have found that when the body fails to store fat under the skin, the fat cells accumulate inside the liver. Fat then spills outside the liver and goes directly to the pancreas. It clogs up the pancreas, blocks it from properly producing insulin. And that's when your blood sugar spikes out of control and you develop type 2 diabetes. The key in fighting these fat molecules is a set of natural compounds found in some specific traditional Indonesian dishes and known only by the inhabitants of a small Indonesian island. Reversirol is the only natural supplement that contains all the powerful ingredients from these superfoods, plus a special mix of vitamins to make it even more powerful. Once you start taking Reversirol, it will form a natural immune barrier to protect your body from the EDC's infestation and repair the damage it has caused. And after your pancreas is unclogged and fat molecule free, your high blood sugar will normalize to healthy levels, and you'll break free from type 2 diabetes. Is Reversirol safe to use? Yes. Reversirol has been successfully tested by more than 160,000 men and women from all over the world with absolutely no reported side effects. Well, maybe the only side effect is you keeping your money in your pockets and not funding Big Pharma's shady business. Moreover, Reversirol does not require any restrictive diets or starving yourself. In fact, you can continue to eat as much as you want of whatever you want for as long as you want. That's because this formula addresses the real root cause of your type 2 diabetes in a safe and natural way. Of course, if you suffer from allergies or other certain medical conditions at this very moment, we strongly advise that you consult with your doctor first. How should I use Reversirol? In order to achieve optimal results, we recommend you take 1 power capsule after breakfast, lunch, or dinner daily with a big glass of water. This will help your body break free from type 2 diabetes and regain control over your blood sugar. What if my blood sugar level drops too fast? Many people ask us this question. Reversirol is extremely powerful, so if you see your blood sugar drop too fast, or even notice losing weight too fast, we recommend you start taking the supplement every other day and not daily. It's also extremely important that you do not get off your type 2 diabetes medication until your doctor advises so. What do you mean by risk-free guarantee? We are so confident our formula will help you break free from type 2 diabetes that we are giving you a risk-free 60-day money-back guarantee. Even if you're only 99% satisfied and you don't want reversirol anymore, send us an email and we'll refund every penny you invested. No questions asked, no hassle, no red tape. For how long will reversirol still be available? I honestly don't know. History has shown us that Big Pharma is not going to sit aside and watch their margins obliterate. They're not afraid to spend millions in legal fees to shut down this site. So make sure you get reversirol while it's still available. How do I get reversirol? It's easy. Choose your package below and fill in the information on the next page. Try reversirol for 2 months. And if you're unhappy with the results, even if you've used up the entire bottle, send me an email and you get every penny back. So go ahead and select below now.